Okay, go ahead.
Your fuel is all through this rail right here. And then this wiring harness in the back runs each injector. It's right here. Plugs into that. And then at the right time,
the wiring harness plugs into that from the fuel
to tell the injectors when to open. Your air comes in like this. You've got air coming down in and fuel. It's all bad spray. They've just been dripping. They're in terrible shape. So they come out of here. I'll switch them all.
And that's the stuff that's on it, like actually dripped on.
This is all
gas
stuff from when just from starting it, and you've got filth. So we'll tape these all off while I'm working on it. Tape them off and switch these, and then while we're at it, have your tune-up. It's never been tuned up.
Okay. Well, that sure does make it hard to get to that, doesn't it?
Yep. You can't even touch this without having your upper end pulling them off.
Okay.
So this is why we got you new gaskets. There's a gasket that goes here and here. It's separate.
Okay. Well, we're doing some more maintenance on the Suburban, everybody. It is at the age that it is many repairs quite frequently. So the last clip I was showing you, we were working on the injectors. They were just dumping gas into the engine. So every time it was cold, it started right up. I could drive it for 15 or 20 minutes, park it, come back out, and it would take forever to turn over. It was hesitating from a stop, like at a stoplight or a stop sign, because it was just getting too much fuel. Basically, it was flooding itself. So we got these remanufactured injectors from this guy off of eBay. And at first we thought they weren't going to work out. We'd bought them and put them on the shelf for about 4 months. Finally got around to putting them on, and they were perfect. The bus is running perfect. So all of a sudden I have the need to have to leave the house every day, and that's unusual for us. So he had been checking the water and checking the oil, and I forgot. So I get out on the highway, I'm driving along, and I smelled a bad smell and looked down at my gauges because I thought it was a car passing us. I had a check gauges warning on this side, and right over here my temperature gauge. It's usually running at about 210, just under. When he switched my injectors, he also put on a summer thermostat. He said it's 160-degree thermostat. So we always run that in the summertime. So I didn't know if the thermostat was bad or what was going on. So I pulled over on the side of the road, and by the time I got over, we were about here. And I knew I was near an exit of familiarity. So I pulled up to a church parking lot, hoped for a hose, found a faucet, and filled it up. It took 5 gallons of water. The overflow was empty, and I knew I was risking getting off the highway, but I called him and he said, get off the highway. So I got it right here. There was cracks, so you could see I've got some liquid here. I lost all my radiator fluid, and it was shooting up all up in here. We knew we were going to need a new radiator soon. We've been watching it drip for quite a while. It's not something you want to let go because you can get cracked heads. Now this is a 454 big block. Hard to get. Basically he had the whole thing just apart a week ago. Didn't want him to have to do that. So he called on a radiator that day. Came and looked at it as soon as he had a chance. Now that he's got the fan shroud off, the radiator came in today. So he's disconnected here, and we can see how bad this crack actually is. I could tell it was leaking on this side. He says the material is different now, but this got brittle, and probably this wear and tearing over the years. This is a 99 Chevy Suburban, and it's the 3/4 ton. the 2500. So it's cracked all the way down to the bottom side of this outlet. We were thinking that it was just this that was leaking. So when he worked on the injectors, he put some plumber's putty on it. But of course with me driving, I didn't know. So my daily mechanic job, this guy keeps this car going, and it wouldn't be going without him, because I didn't even think to bother to check it. If I'm reminded to, I do. So where's the new one at? You got it out of the box?
Safe in the box.
All right, let's go look at a part number for this, because there were two different radiators that you could get. It had a tall fill valve or a flush fill valve. So this is the correct one for our engine, and your engine might be different, because keep in mind that the Chevy Suburban, the K25, also had a 350 motor and then the 454. So know which one you have. And I believe there's a 1500 series that had a smaller engine even than that. So this is by Platinum Pro, and it says replacement part for 7.4 liter short, 94 to 2000, and it looks like it's part number RAD 1696. So let's see, he's keeping it safe in the box. I don't want to mess them up. Oh, and I hate these staples. They always get my hands. So here's another label, and it says RAD 1696. So that must be the part number. And here is our brand new radiator. Look at that. So I'm going to film him a little bit doing his uninstall and his reinstall so you can see what's going on here. And I know people squawk and tell me I need a new car, but there is not a 454 Suburban available, and there is not a 9-passenger Suburban available. And as you know, we have all these little children, and this is a 1-ton truck frame on a 3/4 ton Suburban. It's heavy and it's strong, and we're safe, and there's room for everybody. Also, it's cloth seats, and that was a huge deal for me because I did not want the leather seats. It's junk. I don't care that you're standing on it, but somebody might be able to repair it and fix it. You're trouble. Yes. You're about 2, right? You're going to be 2 soon, so trouble. He just laughed. Yeah. Hi there. Yeah.
See it?
Yeah.
For what, maybe 3 years or more?
Yeah.
How long you think?
Oh, I don't know. We've been adding water heavy lately.
It's always down to about here. And that's the end of the crack. The crack goes from there to there.
Oh my. So the crack just started traveling the opposite direction.
This is brittle. And it's 20 years old.
Well, the one time I was getting bees
maybe longer than
was
that.
like 6 years ago, because
So it's been, we weren't worried about it because we knew we always had fluid up to here.
Yep.
But this is, see it.
So it's the plastic on the ends that goes bad. The radiator itself, honeybees. Yep.
So the tanks went bad. The aluminum part's okay.
The other 454, you can have a tall neck, and he said it's about 3 inches. And this one was more money because it's taller here, so you're paying for the extra aluminum. The other radiator actually stops about here with a tall fill neck. This is the short fill. But call around. We went to was it CarQuest?
Yeah, everybody I called Napa, and everybody saw the option for a 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive 454. There's a tall neck, it's a little cheaper, and then this one, the neck is short because the radiator's taller.
Okay.
So we don't know what the difference is because it's for the same vehicle.
So, and he's a fussy worker. He got his air tank out and he blew it all out so that it was clean and not dumping on him. all the leaves and stuff. And you've been at this, what, 15, 20 minutes?
I guess.
So that's not too bad. It's actually not bolted in place at all. It just sits. Yeah, sits on there and floats in the brackets.
They don't want twisting or rigid.
He tells me all this stuff so that I know what's going on, so that I'm not just a stupid girl. That's how I know how to fix things. If you guys ever wondered, when I was young, I remember I had to go for a weekend away and I had been tearing a toaster apart because I wanted to know how it worked. I remember my dad laughing at me because I was working on that, and my stepmom reminded me about it recently. It all started, my washing and drying and all that, with fixing something that was broken. And I like tinkering. I like doing this stuff. So this is why we do it. We're saving money. We're learning. We're frugal. And I'll tell you, we're fixing something every day. I've got a project going on over here you'll see soon. Trying to get my paint sprayer going. There's always something waiting, needing to be fixed.
Put that style on it.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
do it how you want.
So he doesn't like the hose clamps that are on it. One's spring loaded and the other one is the ratcheting style. So he's gonna find another so that he can swap out the one that he doesn't like. So I just wanted to show you what's all going on here the best I can. I've got such bright afternoon light. So he says this is for the radiator. And this is what it looks like all down in here. Got it all cleaned up. For whatever reason, all of my washing, everything was collecting down there. I'm surprised that, I guess with the aluminum it's protected, but I've been parking here and there instead of in the garage. So it's a shame about that, but you know what? I was saying that we had called around. Some of them were close to $300. CarQuest didn't actually have it in stock, but they got it for us in about a day and a half for less than $200, just under. So it worked out really good because we are a farm and I was able to sell some hay and I got $200 for the hay. So money in, money out. It's just the way things go.
That must be some other type of deal.
It looks like a quick connect.
They cap this off in case you don't need it. You do.
Okay, because ours is direct thread.
Yeah, it's different. I hope this right.
Uh-huh.
It's these right here.
Yep.
And there's one down there.
Well, how could they? This is way small.
Right. So I think if you take these out,
Mm-hmm.
the one behind it, they're giving you an option. See, if this fitting comes out, it leaves you looking like this.
Just this part's separate from that.
Yeah, hopefully.
I see. Mm-hmm. And this is where another O-ring goes.
No, that's a other thing. As of right now, this isn't fitting.
We have had this for 8 years, maybe? No way.
It was 10 when we bought it. No.
And we put 102,000 miles on this. We had 80,000 miles on it when we bought it.
83 and now it's 180.
Oh, and every time I would see that number going up. And I don't know about you guys, but I used to have to work, and we were close to town, so we would go to the store a lot more, and now it just kind of gets driven about once or twice a week. Don't put a lot of miles on it, but it's just the age of the vehicle. Lots of work to be done on it. So here you can see he's getting all hooked back up. And the only difficulty he had, he said this was sitting, what, too far forward? You leaned it back some? Okay, so that line cools the transmission. There was one over here and it does the power steering. And what was the other one?
Cools the engine, power steering, and transmission.
Okay. So I've actually been losing some power steering fluid, and we think it might have been because of the radiator leak.
It looked like it had another crack in the oil tank down below.
Hi.
You can see it over here.
So hopefully that'll solve that problem too, because one of those random things we didn't know where we were leaking and what was going on. It's pretty wet, so it's hard to tell. I don't know, terrible to be leaking out all that antifreeze fluid when you're buying, what was it, deck school? Well guys, I just don't know what to do about this old car. It is just one thing after another. So it has been about 4 weeks since I got my new radiator put in. I did some driving around and I noticed that the car felt kind of hot. There seems to be a lot of heat coming off of it. And we went through a huge heat spell like last week. This week hasn't been so bad. It has cooled down and it's been more like, you know, 75, 85 degrees. So I'm kind of out by myself running some errands, and I thought, oh hey, I'm gonna go check out some used cars and see what's going on and see what the price of a new car is. Well, this is why. She's a leaker. This car is just constant leaks, constant repairs, and I pulled into the Ford dealership and I looked at a new Lincoln Navigator because I need something that's going to hold our whole family. All the new SUVs are 7 or 8 passenger, and these car seats are huge, and the third row, Jack's gotten so big, and the other guys, and with the car seats, it's really only a 2-person back seat when it's a 3-person seat. Just because there's 3 seat belts doesn't really mean 3 adults would fit there. And these boys are big. Jack's as big as I am now, and he's only going to get bigger. His grandpa Denny is like 6'4" or 6'5". So Jack's going to be a giant, and I need a car that's going to fit these big boys because they are going to grow up to be big men. So I'm leaking. So this doesn't look that bad right now, but as I'm driving down the road, it seems to be coming out of the lower port in the new radiator and blowing back. And it's leaking in the exact same spot that the radiator was leaking when it was dripping coolant and spraying up into my well. So when I left the workhouse the other day, I had noticed there were about 6 drips under there, and sure enough, I can see dripping right down there. So on my lower section right down here, I can see the rail. I checked with my flashlight and I just can't see enough. So I thought I'd pull into the dealership and see what I can find and look at this beautiful sea of wonderful cars. Now, here's a little fact. These days, almost nobody buys a car. You can get a leased car that's been turned in. So the trouble I find with the lease cars is that I can't find an SUV that's big. The crossover vehicles like the Chevy Traverse and the GMC Acadias got real popular. And there was a Buick version, I think it was called an Enclave. I forget. They started doing like captain seats in the second row, which is great for Jack being a big guy. But you're losing a full-size seat by getting rid of that middle seat for a center console. And we never use the fold-down armrest in our third row because there's always 3 car seats right there, because that's the only row you can fit 2 or 3 car seats together. So here's a truck that's similar, like a newer version of my husband's, and it's got a Duramax in it, but can't get a truck. They're almost all 5-passenger. We've got a 5-passenger pickup. It's been parked for years because no time to fix it. Fixing everything else that suits the whole family. I'm hearing sirens off in the distance. It's Saturday. It's like, what is going on? So, walking around this lot where the trucks are, thinking that I might find an SUV. All I'm finding is pickup trucks. And here's the thing about my Suburban. It's 9-passenger. It's cloth seats. I hate leather seats, and I hate leather seats with car seats on them because they all get dented in from having a car seat strapped in. When you attach a child's car seat, you have to put your entire body weight into it to anchor it in really good. Ooh, pretty blue trucks. Look at this, they're like a fleet. I love them. Red's my favorite color though. Not this color red. Ours is called Victory Red, it's more like these. But oh my God. This dealership closes off their entrance so you cannot drive through. And I don't think I'd be a fan of driving through this parking lot anyway. It is overstocked. They kind of have too many choices. I guess they need to have 2 of everything on the lot in case your color isn't here. So, Terry Hanks is selling lots of cars. Or maybe he's not selling lots of cars. Maybe he's just stocking lots of cars. Okay, there is not an SUV on this side at all. Okay, here's some bigger... I see Traverses. Maybe they're parked with them. So, I got sidetracked. The thing about my Suburban is that it's supposed to be a 3/4 ton Suburban. The tag in the door and the information shows it's actually a 1-ton truck frame. And I have a real heavy duty transmission. And I've got a 454. That's a 7.4 liter engine. And all the new Suburbans are like 5.3. Traverse. Traverse, traverse. No Suburbans. So I pulled into another car dealership when I was out shopping last week. And a brand new Suburban that was kind of decked out was $70,000. $70,000. I don't have enough arms and legs to pay for that. I could sell my organs and it wouldn't pay for that. Well, I don't think they even have a Suburban on the lot. There's something. What's this? So, another thing about my Suburban is it has a tailgate, and that's a really rare. Here's a Tahoe. Tahoe's half the size of a Suburban. It's almost there. Okay, it's got 3 rows. $67,560. Second row bucket seats. That means 6 or 7 passengers. I don't know if the back row's 3 or not. A very small 3-seater bench. So, still 7 passengers. The thing that I liked so much about mine when I got it was that it was 9, because I can pick up all of my grandkids and bring them with me. I have 3 grandkids now. So when George was born, my daughter also had a little girl. So she has 2 boys and a girl. And we don't get to take them all very often, but at least I know that I can put everybody in a seat to take everybody. Like if my husband's not with me, I can take all 3 kids. So I wanted to check out the used lot and see if there's anything over here. Kind of parked on a side street, but look at this. They're using vehicles to block off their driveway. I realize they don't want people coming in and smashing cars, having an accident when nobody's around. But this is bigger than a football field, my God. If I wanted to walk the mall today, I would have went to the mall. I don't need any exercise. You guys know that. I get my exercise on the farm. Bad thing about this place is they've got a great big barn, and they park vehicles in there. And this barn is called the bargain barn. Well, you can't see what's for sale, and it's usually vehicles that you pay cash for anyway. So I'm gonna walk around here, see what I can find out. It's kind of late and I'm not really seeing anybody. Okay, so what I found out is they keep the bargain barn open. Everything there is pretty well dusty, but still very new, newer than my Suburban. Nothing has a price tag on it. All the salespeople have gone home. There's just information, if you can see through the blackout windows, saying if it has or doesn't have a warranty. The trouble with this particular car shop is they take cars in that were rentals and sell them on their lot as used cars. I don't want to buy a car that's been a rental because I know what people do to rental cars. They beat the hell out of them. So, nothing but sedans up that way. Here's another Escalade. So they have 3 Escalades on the lot, not a single Suburban, and an Escalade is the size of a Tahoe. Smaller. Very low towing capacity. No pulling around with the Eager Beaver trailer and pulling a heavy load with like a tractor on it or a loader with a backhoe. They're nice. Real pretty pearl white. I like that. I used to really like them a lot, but body styles have changed a lot. And you know, they've ramped up the tire size ridiculous. I think my tires on my Suburban are 17-inch. And I think on my daughter's new car, they're like a 20-inch on an Acadia. I'm looking 275, 55 R20. Replacing tires this size, you know how we go through tires on our farm. I can't imagine what it would do to the transmission pulling something like this. And see, like on this vehicle, they've done what they could, but there's shadowing from the stickers. I don't know if you can see that or not. And this is where they pulled off a sticker, which was pointless to take off because they put their own sticker right here, and this says the same company. So if you're interested, I am, look at this. Same thing is going on my vehicle in the one spot because it doesn't have the fender flares. It's bubbled up and it's peeling. That's not exactly what I was looking at. So, bucket seats in the back again. 7-passenger. I'll take their nice grill for a pig roast though. See that right over there? It's huge. That thing is like probably 4 or 5 feet long. Probably 4. Take the grill. Load it up with a bus. That old Astro van right there would be better. It'd seat everybody. Oh, this is the sick car row. This one's got a flat. It's got smashed in the front with a Culver's burger thing sitting in the front window. I always am getting cut off by people or noticing that they're driving very bad because they're going around. Well, No Suburban here for me. No $90,000 Lincoln Navigator. I was looking for a Ford Expedition EL for extra long. They didn't have any of those on the lot either. So what's a large family to do? Guess we're gonna have to fix it. I'm gonna have to pull this radiator. We'll have to see what's going on with the drip and see if there's something we can do. And this is why we keep nickeling and diming this thing. It has 188,000 miles on it, and it's a 1999 Chevy Suburban. They have a GMC Suburban too. And I tell you, some days I think I'm just gonna look on Craigslist in Texas and the Carolinas and just go down south and go find another Suburban. Because you can find them with no rust and looking good. So, I'm gonna get myself out of this little neighborhood. It's not going anywhere. There's just a dead end. Oh my. I am in Redneck, Kentucky. Swimming pools in the front yard, 2 feet from the road. But their backyard is a car lot, so what do you expect? Oh my. And apparently the car dealership owns right next to them too. Oh, this road doesn't even have a cul-de-sac. Did you know that? It's cul-de-sac, not cul-de-sac. Oh, most people have a tiny little houses with big screen TVs, as big as their living rooms. So unfortunately I've got to get turned around, and the only thing I can do is to pull into this poor guy's driveway and turn around. But it doesn't look like anybody's home. Lines are closed. And I'm sure, I used to live on a dead end street. I'm sure they're used to it. I might not like it. So, like I said, it's the weekend. Guy's gonna have to take a look at it because I can't go back and forth to the workhouse getting broke down anywhere with the kids. And I'll tell you, I've been staying off the highway the last couple of days because of this problem. That's a little better. This is a very tree-lined row, and it just got dark. So, I guess we're gonna tear into it tomorrow and see what happens, and I will keep you posted and let you know. And if you hear that rattling, that's a baffle in my muffler. My muffler is a year old, and every now and then it rattles just right, and apparently you can drill a pit hole and TIG weld it, or MIG weld it. Let me know in the comments below. I don't know the difference, and I really need to learn some welding. But there are certain things that he is very hesitant to teach me because he's afraid I'm going to burn the shop down. I don't blame him. I'd be worried too. So, we'll look into it and see what's going on with this tomorrow. So we are here today doing a little investigative work on the Suburban. Many things happened all at once after I filmed that last segment. He took my car the next day, and I started having an exhaust leak. And we'd heard a little bit of rattling and stuff. We figured that the new muffler was failing. The baffles in them go bad, and apparently you can drill a hole and do a little tack weld. Well, the next day it completely blew out, and it sounds like this. So my mufflers basically have been lasting anywhere from, 18 months to 2 years. This is probably the 4th muffler we put on this. Third. And it sounds like garbage. We knew we had a bad section at the catalytic converter. It no longer has the whole stainless steel original exhaust. Somebody took it off. So he's getting under here to find out what is going on with that. Because at this point, if the muffler has failed, it's off warranty. But now that we know the secret of the 3/4 ton Suburban, that it's the same muffler as the 3500 series pickup truck of the same year.
Not the muffler.
Great.
The muffler is like new.
Holding up?
Catalytic converter has a hole in it that big.
The actual catalytic converter?
Yep.
So that means a front exhaust section or just the catalytic converter?
However much pipe comes with it's fine. But, this one's holding up.
Alright. Well, So somehow or another, the drip that I was getting was the power steering fluid.
The power steering fluid cooling part of the radiator. We had a hard time. That fitting felt funny. So I took it kind of easy and stopped. And it held for weeks. And then it got loose because I went easy on it. So I just had to give it a little more, just loose fitting.
So he tightened that up, no more drip?
I was still shy about giving it much because it felt funny. And it did need more, but I didn't want to give it to it and then it leaked. So then it was really loose. It actually backed off. It turned with my fingers.
Okay.
So then I tightened it up more. And it's fine. Nothing.
All right.
No money.
So then all of a sudden, my check engine light came on, and it was missing really bad. So I drove it that way for a week, because it was fine until the check engine light came on. I'd been grounded from going to work, because I didn't want to break down. I don't know how well you can see that. This is completely fouled. We just did new injectors, spark plug wires, and I think he did some of the spark plugs, not all of them. But this was completely fouled. They were like $3 and there was a rebate, so they were about $2 a piece. And now she's not missing. Check engine lights off. So we were afraid that it was a timing issue, right?
It was shaking like the timing, and before the timing got off and the check engine light came on, but that wasn't it. Those are $2. They're $1.99 for the rebate.
So tightening up the thing didn't cost any money. We'll have to see about a catalytic converter, and for $2, and we already had it on hand, we're running again. So just like when I was 15, 16 years old, my guy's getting my car for me, getting it going. He'll have to get some hugs and kisses for that, so I can get back to work on my house. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Keep that old stuff running. It's worth it. Bye-bye.